Hello and welcome to Adventures of Deanna and today's video, the ABCs of weight loss, where we're going to talk about words that begin with the letter J. So while we get started here, everybody say hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Super excited to have you. But in the comments, put down the words that you think that we may or may not be talking about tonight that begin with the letter J, the letter J. So we got a little bit mixed up the last few weeks because I had a thing come up, so I didn't get to do the letter H. So then we did the letter I, and then we did the letter H. But now we're back on track, and we're talking about words that begin with the letter J. Joy, joy. I've got joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Okay. Nobody ever wants to hear me sing, so I'm so sorry that I did that. Anyway, first, before we get into the words that start with the letter J, I guess that we need to introduce my guest tonight. So my very special guest tonight has no introduction because I have no guest. It's just me. It's me. You've got me all by my lonesome, all by myself, just me. So no guest, no introduction. I am just, the jester of the show tonight for the words that begin with the letter J. So yay, exciting. And what was that buzzing noise that just happened? Oh my gosh. Anyway, it wasn't anything necessary or important. All right, so we're going to talk about words that begin with the letter J. Don't forget, you need to put your comments, your guesses in the comments. What words do you think that we're going to be talking about tonight? And while I'm letting you guys say hello to one another and gather, and I guess we will start with my first word of the night, which is a rather peculiar word. It is a different word, quite a strange word, and I don't think that you guys would have ever guessed this particular word for us to talk about on the show tonight. And the word is jewelry. 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 How do you say jewelry? Do you say jewelry or jewelry? I say jewelry, even though it's pronounced or spelled slightly different. What are you people all doing? My gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, why do I need 500 texts while I'm trying to do my awesome show, the ABCs of Weight Loss, where we're talking about words that begin with the letter J, and we're talking about jewelry, the word jewelry. So jewelry, whenever I think about jewelry, type in the comments. Let me know whenever I say the word jewelry. How do you think that I am going to relate that word to weight loss? Because I thought it was, that's a fun word. That's an interesting word. How in the heck is Deanna going to spin weight loss and how it relates to jewelry? So I'm really interested to hear what your thoughts may be. And I'm going to try and stall for that for a few minutes while you guys talk about that. So as far as jewelry goes, do you have any favorite jewelry? So I am most fond of myself of earrings because they're easy to take off. They're easy to put on. They're just kind of low maintenance. I find necklaces and clasps are a little bit, harder to deal with. Bracelets, I'm, not that fond of because I feel like they're always clinging on the desk surfaces or getting in my way whenever I'm trying to write. And then my next to favorite word or jewelry piece next to earrings would be just regular rings. I love rings as well. I also like toe rings and anklets, but that's, I'm just trying to stall here. Like I said, I'm trying to stall to see if you put anything in the chat about how in the world does jewelry relate to weight loss. I love seeing your guesses coming through. That is so exciting to see all of your awesome guesses kind of coming in through in here as far as what words that we may be talking about. wonderful words that you're saying. I'm not seeing anybody comment about how in the world. So you guys are probably like, just flabbergasted. How in the world is she going to do this? How is she going to relate jewelry back to weight loss? So, jewelry. Before, like, say, a weight loss, expedition, adventure, quest, all of those things that you might be on, I think that jewelry always kind of felt like a safe purchase. I know that in my personal life, there had been a time where, I wouldn't want to buy more clothes, either because, on one end of the spectrum, because I'm gaining weight and I'm hoping that I'm going to stop that and I'm going to get back into the size that I'm in, or, whenever, you're, at your heaviest or what, you're feeling like, okay, I've got to put an end to this and I need to lose some weight. But jewelry always felt like one of those safe purchases. So if you needed some, retail therapy or something, jewelry was always there to kind of fill that void. I didn't have to worry about, gaining weight. I didn't have to worry about losing weight. I knew that my jewelry was for the most part going to fit. Although, once you start losing weight, you learn that you've got to get your rings resized and all kinds of different things. But I think that jewelry was one of those things that, always felt like, that safe bet, so I've got all kinds of jewelry because I would oftentimes see myself in those particular situations where I didn't want to necessarily buy clothes in a different size or whatever, but I still wanted to shop. I still wanted to buy something. I still wanted to, have that experience. And jewelry always felt kind of safe to me. So that's in one way that jewelry kind of relates. And another one, safe bet, hats. Yeah, you've got this big collection because, it was, the safe thing. It was the safe choice. It felt easy and comfortable and also kind of comforting at the same time. So jewelry is kind of, it's very interesting to me. It's a very interesting topic. So I've got this necklace here. This is a Swarovski necklace that my mother-in-law purchased for me. And whenever, I'm going to try and go, no, I can't go taller. Let's see. Sorry. I should have thought about this before I did all this. Let's unshow, hide. Okay. So when I first started losing weight, this particular necklace, I could not wear. Could not put it around my neck. If I did, it was like pinching and binding and everything like that. And as you can see now, it now hangs properly around my neck. It's not tight. I can actually clasp it. It used to just go kind of like this around my neck, and barely was I able to clasp it. Our necklaces are also our jewelry. It's a sign of, it's a non-scale victory, is what I'm getting at. And it's something to not be overlooked. I think sometimes, we might get caught off guard or surprised by these things, but it's a non-scale victory. It's something to be looking out for. It's something to pay attention to, is our jewelry, the way that it fits. It's a small little thing, but man, it's one of those things that makes you feel good for, the work that you're putting in, the effort that you're doing, the consistency that you have, the changes that you're making. Don't let that go unnoticed. So if you have, a favorite necklace that you haven't been wearing or something like that, and you've lost, 20 pounds, 15 pounds, whatever it is, even more, give it a try. It might be something that you can wear again. So that's why I wanted to talk about jewelry. I think it's really, 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 really important to point that out. So I'm going to take this back off because I'm already wearing a necklace. And I'm going to continue to talk about jewelry for a little bit longer because there's another piece of jewelry that's meaningful and important to me that I wear all the time. And it might be your sign. It might be your sign. So this necklace that I wear all the time, I never take it off. I just wear it all the time. And I've got all tied up in work things today and didn't have time, but I wanted to go find the video in which I purchased this because I know that it is up on my YouTube channel somewhere, and I believe it is somewhere in 2021, I believe. But I got this necklace as a reward for losing 50 pounds. It was a big deal. I'm so sorry. I'm going to be very emotional about this. I thought I was ready to talk about it, but apparently I'm not. But we'll get through it. Thank you, friends. We'll get through it. So weight loss can be a pretty emotional thing sometimes. So I got this as a reward for 50 pounds, and you're like, Dina, why in the hell are you crying? If it's such a, awesome thing, if it's so cool, if it's so, special. So that 50 pounds is whenever I kind of hit a roadblock. And I lost more than 50. I got down to like 55 pounds lost. And then I kind of got stuck. And I just got stuck. And I've been stuck. And I've been like tearing back and forth and losing the same, 5 pounds, 6 pounds, whatever. And like, what in the world is going on? And a thought came into my head. And I've probably been carrying this thought around for over a year. At least I've had this thought going on in my head for over a year that my necklace is cursed. It's cursed. And it cursed me. And I've thought it multiple times. Many, many times. I've journaled about it. I wrote about it. I've thought about taking the necklace off and putting it away in my jewelry thing to not be, I don't deserve it. I don't, or it's cursed and I shouldn't be wearing it because as soon as I put that necklace on, the weight loss kind of stopped. Now, how crazy is that? Just how ridiculous is that? Do we believe in curses? Is that a thing? I mean, it's the biggest limiting belief that I can possibly think of. It's the biggest, excuse for my brain to say, oh, well, let's look for evidence that that's true. Let's find a reason why it's true that that necklace is cursed. Let's create small little ways to make that curse actually come true, to make it happen. So then here, my thinking brain, my, prefrontal cortex or whatever, it's like, that's crazy. But the back of my subconscious, it's like, oh yeah, there's a curse going on for sure. And then it's creating all kinds of drama and all kinds of side things. And it's quietly working in the background, curse. But it's false. As long as I want to believe in this curse, there's going to be evidence to be true. As long as I want to keep feeding into this story that that's true, that there's a curse on me, that my necklace is cursed. It's all about what I choose to believe. It's all about how I want to think about the situation. It's really easy to justify everything I do because it's the curse. It's the curse of the necklace. I can justify that. Yeah, it's not me. It's not my actions. It's not my responsibility. It's not my things that I'm doing. It's the curse of the necklace. You have anything like that that's going on in your life? I mean, you probably had no idea that this is where I was going to go whenever we were talking when I said, we're going to talk about jewelry tonight. You probably had no idea that's where I'm going to go with this. But we have these limiting beliefs. And could my limiting belief that my jewelry is cursed be holding me back in my weight loss journey? What kind of limiting beliefs might you have that are holding you back? They might be, completely outlandish. They might be something that you kind of only hear in a whisper, but it's not something that you're like really saying out loud. I've never told anyone that story at all. This is the first time that I have said that story out loud, but it's somehow my brain gives it strength and power and all kinds of things. This huge, ridiculous, crazy, limiting belief that my necklace is cursed. So let me try and look through the tears that are now fogging up my glasses to try and read this chat box to see if you guys, are following along with my crazy story. We're here to work through stuff together. You thought it so long you made it true. Correct. Thought it so long you made it true. It's easier to blame someone else, something else, than it is yourself. So true. It is so much easier to blame someone else, something else. We can curse ourselves with our thoughts. Correct. It's not the necklace that's cursed. It's how I curse myself with those thoughts. So I need to turn it around. I need to think something, differently about the whole situation. Only curses are the mind curses we put on ourselves, for sure. See? Oh my God. I can't run. Oh my God. That's a curse that we put on ourselves. That's a limiting belief that we put on ourselves. That's something that we try, whenever we say things like that to ourselves, and we believe it to true, and we hold ourselves back. We limit ourselves from what our true potential, from what our true desires to the things that we want to be able to do are. They might not necessarily be true, but the more that we say them, the more that we repeat them, the more we talk about them, the more they become true. So we have to start, dialing them back a little bit. So there's so many ways to do that. For me, because of the curse of the necklace, it's really hard for me to think of a different way to think about that. But like the only thing that I can really think of is like, do you really believe in curses? Because I don't think that I do. I don't think that I would be able to go and curse someone and that it actually be true. But but like, I can't run. But I'm learning to run. I might not be able to learn today, but I can baby step that, because I think that baby steps are a good way to make progress. So you're not going to go from I can't run to I'm running, but we can say I'm learning how to run. I'm working on becoming a runner. There's lots of ladder steps that we can make in order to change those thoughts and those feelings about that. But we have to start, with the baby steps of things like that. So sit down, take a minute, think about what your limiting beliefs are, really decide if it's true or if it's just a story that you're telling yourselves, and then start thinking about new ways that you can think about those thoughts and how that can help you progress in order to hit your goals, hit your targets, do the things that you want to do, all these fun things like that. I stop every 5K training I start because I lack the belief in myself. Oh, I stop every single one probably in week 2. So I'm right there with you. I'm not ready to believe I'm a runner yet. I don't know when I'll get there, but I know that the evolution and the modifications, they're there. And someday it might be something that I like and that I enjoy, but I'm with you. Like right now, It's not really something that I think that's going to really be, you know, it's not my, number one thing, but it's also not the number one thing um, it's not the number one thing I'm working on either. There's lots of other things that I'm working on. So the running and the running is kind of like low priority as far as changing my belief. It's always a story I tell myself. So we have all kinds of stories that we tell ourselves, whether it's, I can't enjoy the holidays without eating XYZ. I can't go out with friends and do blah, blah, blah. There's all kinds of different stories that we tell ourselves. And really, it's a J. It's the next just word. I already mentioned it before. It's justification. It's a justification for not making changes that we feel are going to be a little bit more difficult than some of the easier changes that are there. It's just a justification for, remaining the same. That's a lot of what our stories are. It's because it's in some way, and I'm not going to say that this is like the all encompassing thing about it, but in some way, it's kind of like a way that we can, not have to face fears that we might have, things that are going in our head that we're afraid of. Sometimes that's what's driving those thoughts and decisions and choices and all of that. So, very, very, very interesting. I thought that, yeah, I thought that would be fun to talk about tonight. The stories that we tell ourselves and the limiting beliefs, and, just trying to listen to our thoughts and identify when we have limiting beliefs and trying to think of them in a better way. What's a more empowering story that we could tell ourselves versus limiting ourselves is it's a big deal. And it's a thing that for some people, they take it up really easily, and for other people, it's one of those weight loss, skills that we have to do. There are some people out there that my favorite J word are just Jedis at it. They can pick up those thoughts, they can spin them around, and they can spit out new thoughts, and they can start believing them. And they're just like these master ninjas of their brain, and they can do all these awesome things. And for me, it takes I am like the tortoise when it comes to this stuff. I do all of this journaling, I do all of this self-awareness work, I do all of these things, and then it'll take me, forever to realize that, oh my gosh, I have this story that I'm telling myself. I have this limiting belief. How can I, go and adapt to a new belief, and then applying that new belief? That also takes me work and it takes me time. I'm a tortoise, and that's okay. I don't mind being a tortoise at all, but there's these other people that are like these master Jedis at it, and I'm just like, oh man, so jealous of these people who are Jedis. But that's another J word, by the way, jealous. Have you ever been jealous of anyone? Curious, let me know. Emojis in the comments if you've ever been jealous of anyone, that's like on a weight loss journey, and you're like, oh man, I just wish I could be them. Wish I could lose weight as fast as them. I wish I could figure out how to do blah, blah, blah like them. Anybody ever have those feelings where they kind of want to do that? All right, so that was weird. How long was I gone? It just was like you have no internet, and then shut down on me. I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Do you guys know I'm back yet? I am so sorry. I hope I'm back. There I am. Okay, good. All right. So where did we lose off? I wonder how long it took some of those Jedi to learn the lessons in silence. Yes, me too. It's so hard not to compare ourselves. It is very hard. I find that, I do have instances where I do get jealous and I'm envious and I want, to, be like certain people or whatever. But I just use that as like fire. And I just say, I can have that too. I'm working towards it. I'm not them, but I can have what they have. If I work for it, I can achieve it. Anything that I want, if I believe in it and I work for it, I can achieve it. There's nothing that I can't do. I do have that, belief, but it doesn't mute the fact that I have the jealousy. And it's not always, a good thing to feel. I know that sometimes whenever we feel jealousy, I don't know what that feels like for you, but for me, it makes me feel a little jittery. It makes me feel a little anxious. It makes me feel a little hungry because that's how I like to deal with emotions as I like as a known coping mechanism. And so it's been something that I always turn to was food. So taking that and learning from that and saying, how can I use this jealousy to serve me versus for it to be something that's going to hurt me? So just recognizing it in my body for what it is that, oh, you're just having a moment of jealousy, and then turning it around. And how am I going to fuel that? How am I going to use that to fuel my desires and my wants? And how am I going to use that to achieve what it is that I want to achieve? And that's kind of how I've really just taken that and went with that to try and use it in order to just better myself and be a better me. So that's what I think about jealousy. I'd be interested to know what your guys, I'm just so fidgety today. Be willing to know what your guys' thoughts are on jealousy and how you handle them, how you deal with them, what they are. It's so weird not having somebody else to talk to tonight. It's just weird. But I kind of dropped the ball, and that's why we don't have a guest. So just letting you know. Anyway, jealousy. Pause for a water break. Okay. The next J word that I wanted to talk about was juggling. The word juggling. So we only got 3. We had 7. Now we're down to 3. Oh, well. Anyway, we're all different and things work differently for everyone. Juggling. So, wanted to talk about the word juggling. Do you feel like does the word juggling have a positive or a negative aura surrounding it whenever you think about juggling? Juggling. She's crying. She's laughing, crying. Tia is laughing, crying, and juggling. She's probably juggling a lot, I'm guessing. That's what that emoji makes me think. That emoji makes me think that you are juggling a lot of different things. So juggling, whenever we're just so busy and we're juggling, I feel, to me, when I start to think, oh my God, I'm juggling all these things, and I'm just so worried that I'm gonna drop the ball whenever I'm juggling. I'm just so worried. By the way, I cannot juggle, just FYI. Have tried many, many times. I can do like 3 balls for like about 30 seconds, and then that's it. And I consider that not being able to juggle. I figured that you have to do 3 balls for at least more than a minute before you are a true juggler. So there you go. Now you know what juggling is to me. But anyway, when I think of the word juggling, I think about, dropping the ball and you're gonna mess up, you're gonna fail. And I feel like sometimes whenever we're, we've got all these balls up in the air and we're juggling and we're doing so many things. We've got our work life and we've got our home life and we've got our kids and we've got our pets and we've got our bills and we've got house to take care of, we're in a car and everything, and we're trying to juggle all of these things. It feels like I can drop the ball. And that's where, the terminology that we use, it's like, I feel like juggling is like one step away from walking up the stairs on the struggle bus. And for anybody that's ever been on the struggle bus, I think it's hard to get off the struggle bus once you're on the struggle bus. It's like, man, I'm really on the struggle bus. I'm really on the struggle bus. And you keep saying, I'm on the struggle bus. So your mind keeps finding evidence to support the fact that you're on the struggle bus. And then it's like this cycle that you just, now you can't find the exit off the struggle bus. And I feel like for me, whenever I start to say, oh, I'm juggling all these things, then I feel like I'm going to drop the ball. And it's really like this slippery slope. And it's like one more thing away. But if I just tell myself, I'm really busy and I've got a lot to do, it doesn't feel as difficult. It doesn't feel like I've got so much going on to handle. It doesn't make me feel like I'm going to drop the ball at any second. When I say, I'm really, really busy, it feels a lot differently to me than whenever I say that I'm juggling. So even like these small little words, these small little differences in the things that we say to ourselves and how we say them to ourselves, they can influence our decisions. They can influence the things that we do. We think that it's not a big deal, but it can really be a big deal. These subtle, small little things that we tell ourselves, they can make a big impact in the actions that we take throughout the day and how we behave in the world, the things that we do. So I'm just, curious, and if anybody else, kind of agrees with this or not. I think about clowns. Ooh. Probably because I literally can't figure out how to do it. Partly because it feels overwhelmed. Partly because I feel like I accomplished nothing if I juggle too. Oh, okay. That's a good one. I love that. If you juggle too much, feel like you accomplish nothing. Yeah. It's they say that for the longest time, we were always told that we were supposed to multitask. The key to everything is multitasking. And then it comes out that maybe multitasking isn't the best way. And if you're multitasking too much, then you don't get anything done. Like these people that are working on 15 different things. They've got 15 different applications opened up and they've got 15 different emails open and they're waiting to respond. And they're trying to multitask. And then at the end of the day, all they did was open a whole bunch of things on their computer and they got 0 things done. They're juggling too much. They're multitasking too much versus focusing in and getting, the task at hand done. So it's kind of like that. Accomplish nothing if I juggle too much. All in the way that you speak to yourself. We really need to pay attention. And so much, of the way that we speak to ourselves is just residual from, our upbringing, from just years, from maybe, times whenever we didn't have, a great self-esteem, and it's just carryover from coping mechanisms that we learned in order to get through life. But those coping mechanisms are no longer serving us. They're no longer helping us to be the best person that we can be. They're no longer letting us achieve or to grow or to whatever. Sometimes they're just like really, really, really hidden, really hidden. Multitasking is a myth. multitasking is not a real thing. There's an episode about that. True story. So yeah, juggling. So if we're juggling too many things, maybe we need to put down some of those balls. We need to kind of just focus on one thing at a time. Maybe we can juggle just a little bit less so we can feel, oh, I like that. Multiple unfinished tasks. See, I don't even need to say anything. You guys can just come on and do the whole show, okay? You've got the best little comments. I hope that came off nice. I didn't mean it to come off mean. Multitasking, multiple unfinished tasks. You can do one thing well or a million things mediocre. So juggling. I really liked that word. I thought I was really clever with jewelry too, but then I liked juggling as well. I thought, oh, that's a good word. It's like now trying to throw in words that aren't, you're just, basic. Like how many people came on here? Was it one of the guesses earlier who thought I was going to say journal? Did anybody say journal? Let's see. Reading the chat, seeing if anybody said journal. Nope, nobody said journal, but I thought for sure somebody was going to guess journal because you guys know that I like my Silk and Sandra journals. You know that I like to just journal in general. So I thought for sure that you thought that I was going to say journal, but it wouldn't be an episode for me to not talk about journaling. So I have to. It's my thing. It's something that I enjoy, and I know that not a lot of people do. So I'm just going to keep talking about it forever because I was one of those people that wasn't a journaler. Okay, that's not true. I think whenever I was in high school, I had like a journal with like a little lock on it. But in all of my adult years, I never started journaling until 2019. And that's whenever I started journaling. That's whenever I learned to look at, what my thoughts were and to see the stories that I was telling myself, to be able to read it back and to point out like the key words and what my limiting beliefs were, and if I was willing to believe those stories or if I wanted to rewrite those stories, to be able to problem solve on what my issues are the day. We've got some great instincts. Our intuition, our gut is so smart. Like there's so much knowledge out there, but the internal knowledge that we have about ourselves and our instincts and our intuition and our gut, so many times when we're faced with a problem, we have the answer, but we're not really willing to like see it or recognize it or take action steps on it. But that's some of the things that I get by journaling. And that's why, I fell in love with it because it was a way for me to be more aware of myself than I ever was before. And it wasn't something like so many people tell me, and get comments on my YouTube channel all the time about how aware I am of myself. And this is a brand new skill that I never had before. This is like, a skill that I didn't get until I was 45 years old. That's crazy to me that I didn't have that before. And I owe it all to journaling. And I was just open to giving it a try. It was something that was required in the No BS weight loss program. I'm like, okay, I don't know. You say that all I have to do is set a timer for 3 minutes and write down my thoughts for 3 minutes and blah, 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 and things are going to change. And I'm like, and then they did. So I became a believer. Like I was open to give it a try. 3 minutes wasn't hard to do. And it was life-changing. And now it's a thing that I absolutely love to do. And it's changed my life. So that's all I can say about that. Oh, I remember jazzercise for sure. I love jazzercise. We're still doing jazzercise these days. We just call it Zumba now. Even though I think that Zumba is funny because what was originally once Zumba, there was like specific guidelines, there was specific music, there was specific things, there was all these specifics that had to be met in order for it to count as Zumba. And now a lot of times people want to call it Zumba whenever it's just, dancing exercise to music, but it's not technically Zumba. And I think they changed it from jazzercise to Zumba just to get the people in the door. Anyway, my thoughts on that. You had a blog for a while? What? How am I just now learning this? Oh, wow. Oh, drama in the chat. Drama in the chat. Gotta love it when there's drama in the chat. Love it. Oh my gosh. I think journaling is a good thing. If you want journaling prompts, I can give you a list of journaling prompts. If you want a list of journaling prompts on a certain topic, I can give you journaling prompts on a certain topic. Just leave me a comment on the video and I would be glad to provide that service. But journaling prompts are an easy way to get started with journaling, because a lot of times you sit down and you think, well, what in the world am I going to write about? And your mind just kind of goes blank. So journaling prompts are a good way to kind of help with that. I also think that really, if you just get started and you just say, oh, it's cloudy outside today and the trees are green. It's nice to see that the trees are green and blah, blah, blah. And you just like let it flow from there. Eventually, you're going to start letting it go. And then the true stuff is going to come out. But you just really, it's about getting started and just start writing. You just put anything down and there's no judgment. There's no judgment whenever you're journaling. If you don't like having it around, it's one of those things that you can discard it. There's nothing to say that you have to keep it. It's not a keepsake necessarily. I know a lot of people who like to get rid of their journaling, stuff right away because they just don't want all that out there. And that's fine too. You don't have to keep it. There's no right or wrong way. I also find that the best way to do it is to, create a system around it. So you're going to want to find, a place in your home that is comfortable, welcoming, a place that you go regularly, a place that is, not going to annoy you with clutter and debris, because, if that's, if you put it in the same place that I don't know, maybe you put all your mail whenever you get your mail every day, that might not be, the best place for you to journal, and you're going to maybe find excuses to not do it. Finding a good time of day. Sorry about that motorcycle. Finding a good time of day that works for you. So maybe it's not something that you want to do in the morning. Maybe it's something that you would rather do before you go to bed. Maybe it's something that you would like to do after you get done with work before you start your evening time. So experimenting with all of these different variables is important to find what really works for you, because what works for one person, I like to do it in the morning, is not going to work for somebody else. Somebody else might like to do it in the evening time. It just really, really depends on, your own particular circumstances, but find a place. And then having, colorful pens, having pretty paper. I think for some people, that's, something that makes it more enjoyable and more fun. Other people are not so picky and they're like, just give me a pencil and a regular spiral notebook and I'm good to go. Everybody's different. You got to try out, the different ways that may, work for you. So that's just journaling. So I know a lot of people swear by journaling. Everybody's going to feel a little bit different on the whole topic. So, but I'm going to keep preaching about the benefits of journaling and how they have, just really helped me get through some tough times and to help me, find joy and purpose and gratitude and resolving some problems that I'm having. Like it's just been so helpful to me. Reading the chat, reading the chat. Oh, yeah. Yay. So journaling, judgment. Okay. Judgment. We touched on the word judgment. Not really, kind of, sort of, but I want to get back to the word judgment. Put in the comments, how does judgment relate to weight loss? I want to know. I'm really curious on what other people think about how journaling relates to weight loss. And I'll just drink some water while you guys type it in. Well, you're just out to, impress Kirsten. That's why that's all you can think of. I can only think of exercises: throw J, jogging, jump ropes, jags, jump squats. That every single week, Kirsten can't watch the lives because she's busy, but every single week she comes into the comments and she'll comment something that is so exercise related. And I mean, of course, that's her wheelhouse. Of course, she's going to comment those things, but every single time it just cracks me up laughing. So I love that. I think it's hilarious. Judgment. How does judgment relate to weight loss? So probably, you're the judgment of yourself, the judgment of others. Yes, we love you, Coach. Oh my gosh. Oh, girls. So, weight loss, judgment. So, judgment of yourself, judgment of others. And there's so many different ways, whether it's, the progress that you're making, the food that you're eating, the clothes that you're wearing. Just judgment comes in so many different forms. And, the thing, we judge all these things. I think judging myself kept me from dropping weight and getting strong. Oh, wow. See? We judge ourselves the hardest. And I think judgment is like one of those words that is like, I don't know how it's helpful. Do you know, is there a way that you can make judgment helpful? I feel like every time I get into judgment, the easiest way for me to think about it is just to be like, judgment's just not helpful. It's just not helpful to me. It doesn't help me, progress. It doesn't help me be a better person. It just feels like a dirty, itchy, scratchy blanket, and it just doesn't feel good at all. So I don't know. I've never felt like, judgment has ever been like one of those things that just feels good. So it's just one of those things that I try to be like, judgment's just not helpful. And then I just try and move on because I don't know, that's just the way I think about it. But I'm open to thinking other things about it. If anybody wants to enlighten me, judgment, I can't lose that much weight. Oh, I just can't. Oh my God. And here we go. The stories that we tell ourselves, the limiting beliefs, as much as if we're going to keep telling ourselves that, we're probably going to find a way to make it true. Oh, girl. It's not our job to judge anyone else. So why do we judge ourselves? But we do it all the time. All the time. And then I was so good. I was so bad. I was so good. And then, yep, all these things. All of these things. Interesting. And then the word judgment for some reason made me think about jail. you know, the juror and the judgment, and then, there's jail. So made me think about jail. And how about just do it? That's so much better. Just do it. Made me think about jail. And so I don't know if you've ever even thought about it this way, but does weight loss ever make you feel like you're in diet jail, like you're in weight loss jail, you're in food jail? I just think that, God, that sounds so restricting and claustrophobic. And when I get free from this, I'm just gonna go crazy. And that's why I never like to think up. Yeah, she's been watching Jury Duty on Freevee, which I need to check out. Feel like you're out of jail now because you're no longer trapped in your old body, in your old beliefs. Now you're free. Ah, now that sounds good. That sounds amazing. Now you're finally free. If your weight loss diet, the foods that you're eating, the regimen that you're following makes you feel like you're in jail, I would try and find if there's a different way that you could maybe think of it, because once you get to your goal, if you're thinking about it like, oh my God, this is so restrictive, I feel like I'm in jail, I can't do anything, I can't go out with my friends, and I can't go out to eat, and I can't do this, and I can't enjoy the holidays, and and it's so restrictive and so cutting you off from everything. As soon as you get to your goal weight, or as soon as you quit your diet and you feel free, like you've been released from jail, you're just going to go, crazy, do all the things. You're not going to be able to stick to anything. Instead, we need to make changes that are really sustainable, that they're things that you want to have in your life. They're things that, are enjoyable and stuff that you can do for life, that they're lifestyle changes that you can live with. But if they're just short-term things that make you feel like that you're in jail, they're not going to be the best long-term choices. So that's the only thing I'm getting at by talking about jail, is that there are so many people out there that have lost weight, who have kept their weight off by making small lifestyle changes that they love and enjoy and can make part of their life for forever. That they keep in a lot of the things. They're, whether it's eating certain foods, whether it's, not having to exercise 1,000,000 hours a week, all still drinking alcohol. For each particular person, you've got to make, the pros and cons of each decision and find which one is going to be the right for you. But try to do it in a way that, doesn't make you feel mad and resentful and like you're, kept in this, jail of a diet. Excuse me. Welcome. I'm so glad you made it. Yay. Yay, yes, justifying doing something that isn't going to help your journey to health, saying there's a good reason for it. So many people justify. I know that a lot of people like to use, well, I did do a lot of exercise yesterday, so I can have a little treat today. Or, there's all kinds of justifications out there, but it's Saturday. It's Wednesday night. A little bit's not going to hurt me. I don't want to throw it away. All kinds of justifications. So we do need to listen to the justifications that we put on to ourselves. I think that's a good thing at the end of the day, kind of to look at and see, were there any justifications? Because I am so guilty of it. I'm not a perfect person. I love to have justifications, let me tell you. But it's one of those things that I like to just kind of reflect on the day and say, okay, so these justifications came up. Why did they come up? What can I do about them? Is there a solution to this particular issue was going on? Is there a different way for me to, handle the particular situation instead of justifying actions that aren't going to help me? So, whatever they are, justifying not, doing the ab challenge, justifying not eating the foods that I had planned to eat, justifying, there's all kinds of things that we justify. But I like to kind of take a look at it, step back, take a look at it without judging myself. There's no need for me to judge myself and say, oh my God, you just can't get it. You have no willpower. You lack motivation. You have no desire, all of that judgment stuff. Just look at it and just question it and say, okay, why was it there? And how can I do it differently next time? And just keep practicing that until eventually I figure it out. So, justifications. Journey. Did we talk about that already? We didn't talk about journey, but I guess that's going to have to be kept for season 3 of the ABCs of Weight Loss. We're going to talk about the word journey. I love the word journey, though. I love all the words for, this fun little thing. Adventure, quest, all of them. I just love it so much. But the only thing I have to say about it is that nobody likes a movie where, Charlie is going to go out and get some gold. And look, Charlie got the gold. End of movie. You don't watch movies that are like that. So don't expect your life to be that perfect either. You're not going to say, oh, I'm going to go lose the weight and then it's done and blah, blah, blah. We're all going to have detours and pitfalls and scary monsters along the way. But that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it fun. And just enjoy it. Because it's developing this awesome hero character that you are that's just hiding underneath. It's just bringing that out into the daylight. It's just bringing it out for everybody to see. So enjoy the journey. It's an adventure. It's an adventure. And that's all I can say is it's fun, it's challenging, and it's worth it. So with that, that's all I've got for tonight. I'm going to leave you there. We're going to talk more about journey in season 3, but I wanted to kind of, make sure that I keep it just to an hour. I do want to ask you guys, come back, please, to this video and comment. What was your favorite word that you liked that started with the word J, and why was it that you liked it? If you like the ABCs of weight loss, please share it with your friends and family so that we can get more people enjoying this awesome show where every week we talk about a word or words that may or may start with the letter and how they relate to weight loss. So anyway, I thank you so much. This would not be possible without all of my fine viewers. I appreciate you so very much. And that's it. So as always, it's going to be an adventure. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. I appreciate you. I love you.